Hi and welcome to another edition of Onside SA. It's great to be back. The COVID break has certainly set us back, set all the fans back. No football to watch, and Budge, it's great to be back.
Yeah, brilliant, Paul. There has been football. I've been watching on the laptop, the Bundesliga, and there's a few players that I think are overpriced at the moment, Paul.
Yeah.
I just hope Chelsea don't go flying into too many of them.
The summer purchases start when?
I think it must be 1st of July.
It's got to be later because they push things out.
Yeah, I just think they're going to wait for the seasons, Paul, with fitness and medicals. And that. You can't go and buy a player for, like Chelsea have reportedly bought Timo Werner, plays his last game this weekend, and what happens if he does his cruciate? So I think there'll be medicals and so on. But and the Champions League, I think, starts in July as well.
So what are we looking at? About 7 games left in the Premier League?
Yeah.
And then the German League, how many games left?
One more. It's all over. Bayern, the home's your own.
One more Whitmore.
One more Whitmore, yeah. So we've got a bet with the Bundesliga this week. Paul, it's a Grand Prix league. A lot of youngsters flying around.
Yeah, but the bottom line is good to be back.
Yeah, brilliant.
It'll be great when you get full stadiums again, but we've seen some games that started off sluggishly, and suddenly the second game back, the Liverpools, the Man Uniteds, they've really raised their games, So
bigger squads, Paul, and they can afford to mix and match a few things. So, but they have started off well.
Yeah.
And a lot of pressure, Paul. Champions League place.
Well, Man City are barred, eh?
Well, that's what it looks like. They're going to arbitration.
So they go down to 5 for... Yeah. And then what does Europa go to 7?
Yeah, the 7 teams go into Europe, yeah.
Okay.
So the FA Cup winner.
Okay.
League.
Right, Budge, let's talk about last one standing. That break has had these guys going. We had 25 in last one standing. It dropped to 19. It's now dropped to 12. Budge, I'm just going to read out the guys that are left in for the public out there. And Dean Moody's got to be favourite. He's got two teams in.
Done well.
Yeah, and let me get my glasses. Some of these guys, your writing's getting better, Budge. Vivian Mudley, Nikesh Ajoda. You know these guys?
Yeah. A lot of them have been in since the start, Paul.
Yeah, Alan Kruger.
Yeah, he's in Investec, the last man of Mark Curry's troop.
He's Mark Curry's troop. He's gone Arsenal already. John Biscoby.
Yeah.
Rion Diaga.
Yeah.
Julian Naidu, Richard Pillay, Greg Veal, Gary Free, my mate.
Yeah, Gary.
And Greg Petzer, the director here.
Yeah, he's slowly sneaking in, Paul.
You
left him for last, so...
Greg Petzer is a Man United
Man United.
supporter.
He was on them last night, Paul.
Yeah. So, Budge, we're down to 12, eh?
Down to 12, Paul.
And now just tell me which games can they pick from
Paul,
this
have to have complete... like 10 games, and all the teams have to play. It's pointless having 8 games and guys say, oh, but I wanted to use them. So round 8 starts this Saturday. There's 1 game on Saturday, 1 on Sunday, 1 on Monday, 1 on Tuesday. There's 4 Thursday and 2 on Thursday. So that constitutes all 10 games.
So it's Saturday
to next Thursday.
And that means at that stage, all those teams will have had 10 games.
Yes. Well, every team would have played.
Left.
Yeah.
That is, okay. So keep it going.
It's fair, Paul. I don't want people come and start blaming you, but I wanted to pick Bournemouth or whatever.
It's fair. It's fair to everyone. Okay, so that's very, very good. All right. So, Saturday, Sunday, 1 game. You just explained that.
Yeah. And I'll get hold of the guys, Paul. I'll send the guys WhatsApp. If the guys have got queries, I'll phone them. But they'll all know. And it's
Let's get Stevie B on the line. Our international pundit. Great to have Stevie back. He's an authority on football. Have we managed to contact with Stevie in the London studio?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, excellent. Nice to hear from you, Stevie. Fantastic. The football, obviously you've got to worry a lot about your beloved Fulham down fighting for a place. They'll make the playoffs, it seems, but the top 2 is tough call, Steve.
Well, it's not over yet, but it's a tough call.
Yeah. No, I think that's interesting. This weekend, you've got the top 4 playing each other. So you've got Fulham going to Leeds, and on Friday night you've got Brentford hosting West Brom. So if the results went in favour of Leeds or West Brom, I should think those 2 are away. But obviously, if Brentford or Fulham sort of pull up a win, then it's still in the mix. But we dropped losing at home to Brentford, 2 late goals. They sucker punched us at the end. We just ran out of steam, and I don't think that we made out the right sort of substitutes at the right time, and they took advantage, Brentford. But fair play. It wasn't a bad game. First game back.
Yeah, I thought you played quite well until the last third, Steve, as I said to you earlier. Yeah. That your captain needs to step up a gear. But, you've got the players. I was impressed with who's the centre half? Is it Elliott? Big, strong boy?
No, Michael Hector. Who
So,
we
yeah,
got on loan from,
That was close, Budge.
we signed him from Chelsea.
Okay.
But he wasn't. The shame was he should have been playing the whole season, but we missed the deadline in August by literally an hour, and because of that, he basically had to train between September and January, and that was only our second defeat with him in the team.
Yeah, I like him. He's a good
Yeah,
player.
a good player, good player. All right, let's talk about the midweek Premiership. Let's talk Premiership for a bit, Stevie, because Budge and I was just saying a moment ago that some of the teams started off sluggishly, like they were ring rusty and needed it. But the bigger sides are starting to get going. Tuesday, I don't know if you saw the goalless draw.
Yeah, I watched it. It was a terrible game.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched quite a lot of them, but it's interesting. I mean, if you look after most of them have played 2 games now, Villa have played 3. The teams at the bottom are there for a good reason, and the teams right at the top. Certainly, watching Liverpool last night and City, they're both 2 games. You can see why they're 1 and 2. But there's a lot to play for still, which I think makes it quite interesting. Obviously, the league is done and dusted, and Liverpool could win that possibly tonight if City don't win at Chelsea. But playing for a Champions League and Europa spot and relegation, I think it's going to go to the last of the game or 2.
Yeah. How impressed were you with Tottenham beating West Ham? I know Tottenham, I
West
thought,
Ham
played a
had
little
gone.
bit better.
Yeah,
West Ham were terrible.
Terrible West Ham.
Yeah, I thought West Ham he just doesn't seem to know his best 11. He swaps players around. There's something not quite right there. Tottenham, they needed a win. They'd not had a particularly good run. I think Harry Kane, there was, why they were sort of making lots of comments. So Harry Kane's only his second game back, and I thought he played better. He took his goal very well, as you'd expect, one-on-one. And it was a pretty professional, sort of solid win. And I think they did what they had to do. But West Ham, I think for West Ham,
could go down.
They play a lot of the teams. They've still got to play Burnley, Norwich, and they finish up playing Villa on the last day. And so they've still got it's sort of still in their own hands, but they need to sort themselves out. I think their problem is who's scoring the goals, because they haven't got an out-and-out sort of goal scorers. They're all scrapping around, in the low. No one's got sort of 10 goals for them this year.
Steve, the Man City-Burnley game. I heard Sean Dyche before the game complaining about several players that they haven't extended their contracts. Is there any news whether they have or not?
My understanding is no. I mean, I think 1 or 2 don't want to stay, so he's not. He didn't pick them. And then he basically, if you looked at their bench, I mean, they had a number of young players, who hadn't played before on their bench. So, but that's no excuse. I mean, they were thoroughly well beaten. I think the big shame for City is that what looked like a fairly innocuous challenge on Aguero, he had his knee operated on in Barcelona yesterday. Evidently, the operation went well, but they don't expect him to be back before the end of the season. Although they're thinking there's still a hope he could be available for the Champions League sort of playoff games when they play them all in August.
Yeah, I must say they have looked fairly slick, Man City.
Yeah, I mean, again,
United looked slick last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I think United have looked good. I mean, they probably feel a little bit disappointed they didn't win that game at Tottenham, but they won easily last night and played some good football. City have looked good, and I think that will be a cracking game tonight, Chelsea City, because it'd be interesting because obviously if City win, then it means that Liverpool could win the league by avoiding defeat at the Etihad, and that would be a cracking game.
Yeah.
And City won't want to roll over for Liverpool, so I think it would be interesting if City won tonight to see the top 2 go at it. Obviously, if Liverpool win the league tonight, if City don't win, then it'll still be a good game, but I don't think they'll have quite the same edge.
Yeah. Steve, on to the FA Cup. Man City are short to win it. Would you take 7 or 10, Man City?
Yeah, I think that they know they can't win the league, obviously, and they want to finish with sort of silverware. And the Champions League is a big is what they really are.
That's the character.
But I think they love the FA Cup. They put out a strong team every time. They've got such a strong squad. I'm very hard to bet against them. I can't see anybody. Although surprises happen, but I can't see anybody beating them other than possibly Chelsea if they avoid each other and get to the final. I think that would probably be the best final if or United. I think United, Chelsea, and City. United. Say United and Chelsea, any teams that could possibly beat City now.
Yeah. You know, Man United go to Norwich. Surely they should win that game.
You would expect so. I think that he might sort of swap things around a little bit, but his squad is so strong, and Norwich, I think they're down now. I think there's no question about that. But whether Daniel Farke wants to put out a strong team in the cup, or whether he feels...
He will. He took players out, Steve. He took players out yesterday. He started with Pukki on the bench. He changed his squad around because of the cup match, I heard the commentator say.
I'm not sure if that's true, because at the end of the day, staying up is far more important to Norwich than getting into the FA Cup final. So I just think that he has a limited squad, and he has to sort of rotate the players. I don't think whatever team he puts out would be strong enough to beat United.
Okay, now two out of form teams, Steve, Sheffield United and Arsenal. How do you see that going?
Yeah, well, I mean, Arsenal just away from home were just such a soft touch. I mean, obviously, they expected them to lose at City, but the way they just capitulated against Brighton was very disappointing. Arteta has got a real job in the summer. He needs to clear out. He needs players who want to play for the club. Sheffield United, I think they've been found out a bit. They've had a couple of hard games. It shows the depth of their squad with one or two out injured and suspended. I think they'll have a go, though. I think this is a good opportunity for them. I think, the league place is, I think they're not sure they get a Europa place now. Yeah. So, having a go in the cup might be worth it. So I would be at all surprised if they win that.
They haven't scored a goal in the last 3 league games. That was what... The thing is, they haven't really looked like it. And against Newcastle, they were really poor.
Yeah, well, I think that's been their problem. Their defence has been their strength. They haven't got a player. Their top scorer is 5 goals, but it's their defence until the last 2 games. It's the first time that they've sort of conceded sort of three in a game away from home. It's been away where they've done so well. But I just think Arsenal are just so soft at the moment away from home. They've got the players. They should do better. But I remember watching the game when they played at Sheffield United in the league, and they were very disappointing up there.
Yeah. Leicester Chelsea's got to be the big one.
Yeah, Leicester Chelsea. Yeah.
I mean, again, it's Chelsea. I think they rotate sort of players a little bit. They got their squad. Leicester, I've been a little bit disappointed with Leicester since they got back. I thought they were pretty average against Brighton, in all honesty, and could have lost it if it wasn't for a good Schmeichel penalty save. This is a good game. I think this will be a good game, and I think Leicester, obviously wants to consolidate their position in the top 4, but I think they should have a go, and I'd be disappointed if they don't put out their strongest team. I think at this stage they should be putting out their strongest team, but we're only sort of 2-3 matches in, and they've got matches midweek again, so I think that they will have to rotate a little bit. So that's going to be a close game. Obviously there has to be a result, which is good.
Yes.
So, I think that one could go either way.
Yeah, and Man City's obviously too strong for Newcastle.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I think Newcastle, will give it a go. But the truth is, City, whatever team they put out, you'd expect them to be far too strong.
Yeah, and he was apparently listened to Jurgen Klopp this morning saying Guardiola's going to mix and match his players tonight for the Chelsea game. Doesn't really matter, does it?
Whether he thinks, look, the league's gone, why sort of puts his key players under pressure. They only played on sort of Monday night, and he's got to play again at the weekend. But as you say, he's got such a strong squad. Obviously, he's lost Aguero, but he rested De Bruyne, brought De Bruyne on. I mean, it's as I say,
I saw the bench. Yeah, it's frightening.
Yeah, his bench is so strong, and you think that he might want to give Sane a game unless he thinks that Sane's definitely going now. But
okay. Steve, on to the big one, the championship. We'll kick off with your boys, Fulham at Leeds. Can you upset them?
Look, we're capable of doing it, but I'm not sure we will. I think we've just been too inconsistent. I mean, Leeds, I watched the game at Cardiff, and they dominated for most of the game, but they do get caught and sucker punches, and they rely on sort of Patrick Bamford up front. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we get nothing out of that game. I mean, had we beaten Brentford, I'd have taken a draw. But I think the key for us now is to consolidate our playoff place and to finish either 3rd or 4th, so we get home advantage. Not that there is a touch advantage, but it's than below that. But I think it should be a good game. I mean, and again on the Friday night, in fact, you've got quite a few big games in the Championship this weekend. Brentford, West Brom, and then obviously the lunchtime kickoff is Preston, Cardiff.
Yeah, I was fairly impressed with Cardiff. I like that German striker. He gave Leeds a handful.
Who's in charge there now?
Gary Ryan. No, he's Neil Harris is at Cardiff, isn't he?
Neil Harris is at Cardiff, yeah.
Yeah, come from Millwall. Steve, the Friday game, Brentford, West Brom, we've got it on here. Can Brentford upset them?
I think they can. I mean, I think they've got the players to do it. I mean, they score goals.
Yeah.
But, they've obviously got two late ones against us. Ollie Watkins didn't score against us, but they've got goals in them. But I thought that we created enough chances, particularly second half, in the first part of the second half to have upset them. And I think this is a game that West Brom are going to want to avoid defeat. A draw is a good result for West Brom because it keeps that gap between sort of third and fourth place teams. So, but I think Brentford will go for it, and if they do, they'll find themselves sort of 4 points behind Leeds and 5 behind West Brom. So I think there should be a good game.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, my boys, Preston, I know we've been woeful. We threw it away against Luton, according to the scribes that are there. Can we beat Cardiff?
I think so. I mean, Cardiff don't travel that well, but this is a big game because there are a lot of teams vying for a playoff place. Just behind them, obviously, you've got Cardiff, Preston, Blackburn, Bristol City. Well, I think Bristol have gone off the boil of it, but this is a big game. I think you need to win this to keep in the top six. But it's anyone from about 11 upwards could get into the top six at the moment. So there's a lot to play for around the fringes in the playoffs.
Yeah, and there's midweek games as well, isn't there, in the Championship?
There are, yeah. There's a round of midweek games as well. So, it's now pretty much in the Championship. They're going to be playing. They had a gap this week after the first week, but they're playing sort of midweek games. They've got a few midweek games coming up.
Okay, Derby versus Reading, Steve?
Yeah, I think Derby will be too strong. They came back, played very well against Millwall. Hat-trick for a young player, Dominic Sibley. He's just got himself in the team, only his second start, and he got himself a hat-trick.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be too strong for Reading. I think Reading sort of sitting in mid-table, they're not going up or down. So I think Derby still fancy their chances of a playoff place. They're strong at home. I think Derby for me.
Yeah. Stephen, last but not least, Stoke City at home to Middlesbrough.
Yeah, it's interesting that you saw that Middlesbrough sacked Jonathan Woodgate and brought in Neil Warnock for the last 8 games. So not an easy job for him to turn that round. I mean, they were pretty woeful, evidently, in the first half and shipped 3 goals at home to Swansea. I think Stoke will just be a little bit too strong.
All right, Steve. Now, as always, I've got to ask you for your best bet and your best value bet. Who are you going for?
I'm going to go for Derby as my best bet. I think that they'll be too strong for Reading. They're strong at home, and the Wayne Rooney influence. He's played in a lot of big games and run-ups to the end of season. So I think it's sort of a calm head there for them. And I think my best. I'm going to go for my value, but I'm going to go for Barnsley. I just think that they had a good win at QPR.
Yeah.
I just think that they might be in the bottom 2, but I don't think they're out of it just yet because there are teams like Hull and Borough can be caught. So I fancy Barnsley to nick it at home to Millwall.
Yeah. Can you see Derby sneaking into the playoffs?
Look, they're not far adrift.
3 points. I looked at that. Yeah.
It's very, very tight at the moment. Obviously, they need to win the game on the weekend. And if they do, then they're not going to be far adrift. But as I say, there's quite a few teams all sort of around there. So, I'm pleased that we've still got a little bit of a gap because even if we do lose at Leeds, we've still got a little bit of a gap over the teams in 6th place. So, but that could close. So I think it's all to play for at the moment. And then when you get into the playoffs, obviously we know it's a lottery, but then you've got games being played without crowds again. So and I think they're still talking about the final at Wembley.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting to see a game at Wembley without crowds as well.
Steve,
all right, Stevie. That's fantastic. Thanks very much, Steve.
All the best, Steve. Look
all the
after
best.
yourself.
Talk soon. Right, there we go. Stevie B, the pundit from the London studio. But let's roll on to these FA Cup quarterfinals. They're in the betting, aren't they? We're going to be gambling on them.
Saturday evening's the first game. Man United travel to Norwich. I think United should win, Paul. This is the only cup we can win. Obviously, we've got the Europa
I think
League.
Certainly 6-10's a fantastic. If
6
they
to
play
10, I
like they
think.
did last night.
Yeah, he's going to more than likely mix and match. He'll play the guys that came on, but we should still be too good for Norwich, Paul. Norwich are woeful. They'll have a go, but United, I was impressed for once, Paul. I like Greenwood. He's got to start.
Yeah.
Pogba looks good, Matt. But we're playing a poor team, a team out of form. But 6 to 10, Paul, I think it's a good bet.
It's a great bet. There should be 1 to 5. I'm just looking at the other games now. 2 out of 4.
Sheffield United, Arsenal. Arsenal won one of the last 15 away league games.
Wow, that's shocking.
It's terrible. I know they've done all right in the Europa League, but Sheffield United have looked poor, Paul. I've watched all 3 of their games.
They're going to go tumbling down the line.
I think there'll be goals in this, Paul. 2 poor sides at the moment, but I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal sneak through. I just don't like what I've seen from Sheffield United. But the goalkeeper's back, Henderson. But that could go anyway, Paul.
Leicester, as Steve said, haven't been impressed with.
Well, I watched them in the game where they played Watford.
Yeah.
They were terrible. I know Shawwell scored a great goal and Watford equalised. But the part that I saw, Watford should have beat them.
Yeah.
I don't like what I see from Leicester. They should have lost to
saved
Brighton.
the penalty.
Well, I think their Champions League spot's under pressure. Now they're 6 points clear of United and that, but United have still got to play them. I don't like what I see. Teams aren't pushing out on them anymore.
Yeah.
So Vardy's not getting behind them. And, I like Chelsea, the 2 teams.
Yeah.
I know they play Man City tonight, but I like Lampard. I think they'll go through, whether it's a win and draw for me, but I think Chelsea will go through.
Man City?
Should win, Paul.
Yeah.
Big squad. Newcastle have fought hard. They changed a few last night, but I don't see them. Man City for me all day.
Okay, right. Let's move on. Budge, the Premier fixtures.
There's a few games. Obviously, there's 4 games in the FA Cup. But I think, Paul, I like Wolves. Aston Villa, they fight hard. I think there'll be goals in this.
Yeah.
Aston Villa got the point last night. They've got to go, especially at home. I like what I see from Wolves, Paul. 8 to 10.
Good side. Good side.
Yeah, especially in the second half. If you could have a bet, Wolves to win the second half only. Because every game I watch them, the first half, they go through the motions. Second half, they seem to kick a gear. And that Traore, I wouldn't like to mark him,
He a great tackle on him by Smith last night, and he got the screaming abdabs because he thought it was a foul. And they went head to head, and Smith just laughed,
Yeah.
All right, let's look at the next game, Budge.
I like Watford. Well, this should be a good game. Watford play Burnley tonight, and Southampton play Arsenal tonight. This should be a humdinger. I think there'll be plenty of goals in this game. I like Watford, Paul, especially at home.
Have a go.
I like Nigel Pearson as a manager. He's got Shakespeare as assistant. They look a happy club, but there again, Southampton won't be easy to beat.
Shakespeare's from Leicester.
Yeah.
And then the Palace, who just got thumped last night.
I made Palace my best bet of the weekend, but Sahar went down last night. He rested a few players yesterday, Hodgson. I didn't like what I heard from Sean Dyche. I think there's trouble in that camp.
The question I've got to ask you, Budge, is when they played their first game, they were the last to play after the COVID break. Both their strikers up front, Wood and...
they're looking for contracts. So
is that what it is? They weren't injured?
And because now they have to extend the contracts.
Because those are their 2 target men.
They had 7 players, 2 goalkeepers on the bench. And I saw them walking out. And normally they're a fired-up team.
Yeah.
And they just walked out. It'd be interesting to watch them tonight.
Well, maybe they'll get contracts done.
Well, they're going to have to. I think the deadline
was Otherwise, you go Palace.
Otherwise, Palace, certainty.
Okay, let's go to Championship now. This is hotting up. Whoa. As you said, when you ask them about Derby, they can still get in the scrum.
Paul, they are 50 to 1 to get promotion. I'm going to have a few rand on that. They're 3 points behind Preston. They've got the second best home record. If they beat Millwall away, which is a hard game, if they win 3 or 4 in a row, Paul, I think they can sneak 6th place.
Yeah, they are. That is a strong league in the sense of, you just don't know what's
physical. I watched all 3 games.
But the top 2 should go through.
Well,
quality-wise.
I don't know. But the thing is, Brentford-Fulham was a good game. Fulham should have won.
Yeah.
But they play this nice football, and it doesn't work in that league.
You've got to have people tucking them.
And Mitrovic is up front. He's got no support. 2 wingers, and the ball's coming in. But Fulham be in the playoffs. I just hope for Steve's sake that goes through. But
I'd love to see them back up,
I've got my doubts.
All right, let's run through them. We've got Brentford on top.
This will be a humdinger.
Great game. One plays 4.
I was impressed with Brentford.
Would you take 2 to 1 West Brom?
Never.
Okay.
Not at Brentford. Brentford had a good home record. I think they've only lost one of the last 11 at home. There again, West Brom away. I watched them draw 0-0 with Birmingham. How they never won, I don't know.
Yeah.
They've got the best attacking side in the league. This will be a good game, Paul.
Yeah.
But as Steve said,
Friday night, eh?
West Brom won't want to get beat because Brentford are 4th, a point behind Fulham. I think there's like 6-7 points between them.
Okay.
So I think a draw.
Your beloved Preston Cardiff?
Paul, we should have won, but we've only won. We've got the 5th best home record. That's what's kept us in it. We've won 1 out of the last 6. We're struggling, Paul. I was impressed with what I saw with Cardiff against Leeds.
Yeah.
They really played well. I wouldn't be surprised if we get beat, Paul. I've got no confidence in my team.
Okay, Swansea City, Luton
I think
Town.
Swansea, yeah, they went
9
to
plays
Middlesbrough once.
24.
I like Swansea, Paul, 7-10. Luton are terrible.
Yeah, 24th.
Yeah, they've had a good run lately, and the guy that was at Stoke City, Nathan Jones, has gone back there.
Okay.
But according to all the reports and what the guys saw, they were poor side. They think they'll go down. Swansea are still hanging around the playoffs, Paul.
Yeah.
I think 7-10 is a good bet.
Barnsley, Millwall. Steve's gone for Barnsley
Well,
now.
Barnsley beat
Millwall
QPR
are
away.
hard to beat.
Millwall, funny team, Paul. You know, they've only won 2 of their last 10. You know, Barnsley won 4 and lost 2 of the last 6. The relegation bound. But you know those desperation teams, Paul, nothing to lose. Millwall are safe. I can see why he's gone for them, but I think it draws a player.
And Derby, you big on.
Yeah, I think big time. I think they lurkers to come up. You know, 3 points behind Preston, who they play on Tuesday. I like them, Paul. 11-10. I think they'll beat Reading.
Birmingham, Hull.
You know, Birmingham haven't won at home in the last 6.
Hull are struggling,
Hull
eh?
are gone. They're the worst team in the league, Paul. That's why I've gone for Birmingham. There should be certainties. They played well against West Brom. They had chances. But Hull have lost 10 of the last 12. They got beat a Charlton team who never had the top goal scorer. Should be 8-10 Birmingham. But Birmingham haven't won their last 6 at home. So take it 8-10, a team like that. But they should win.
Charlton, QPR, that's the derby,
London
is it?
derby, yeah. QPR had hopes of sneaking into the playoffs, but they got beat 1-0 at home by Barnsley. Charlton, great result at Luton.
Yeah.
You know, they have 3 players wouldn't sign. I think QPR on a draw there, Paul.
Leeds, Fulham, good game.
Should be, Paul. I was impressed with Leeds. Their final ball just didn't happen, and I'm not sold on Patrick Bamford. He more than likely come back to haunt me. I like Fulham, but
Yeah.
they play too much football.
Yeah.
And their captain, I think it's Tierney's his name. He's
Yeah.
he's like an Ozil.
Yeah.
When you're on top, he plays. When you're missing, he's invisible. And they took off a guy, Reed, in the midfield. Changed the whole game. Steve told me he got cramp because they were totally in control. I don't see
I
Fulham
don't
win.
talk cramp, you know, because that...
And it was hot, Paul. Your lunchtime kickoff, we went down.
And they're having the water breaks and all that. Do they have it in the championship?
Yeah, they
'Cause
have to.
they're
They
toughies.
brought the guys on and the whole game changed. But I think Fulham will give them a game, but I don't think they'll win.
Okay, and then Stoke, Middlesbrough?
I like Stoke, Paul, but Middlesbrough fired Jonathan Woodgate.
Yeah.
You know, Stoke 1-4, lost 1 of the last 5. I was all over Stoke, but I hate that managerial change because it always reacts.
Yeah, and you always
And
get
so I've
something.
thrown the draw. I was all over Stoke, but while I think they'll win, you've got to be careful of the draw.
Will Wigan be able to hold off Blackburn?
We're going to run beaten in 7, Paul. Blackburn, Lancashire derby. You know, Blackburn are going well. I think a draw player there.
Bristol City,
I like
Sheffield.
Bristol City. Sheffield are woeful, Paul. They've only won 1 of the last 11. They equalised late at home against Forest. But Bristol City, all their players came back. They're expecting a good performance against Blackburn. They got beat. But 16-10 is a big price, Paul. That's my value bet.
Forest, Huddersfield?
Paul, I like Forest, but their last 3 games at home, they haven't scored.
Oof.
You know, but they should beat Huddersfield. Huddersfield got beat by Wigan at home. I like Forest, Paul. They've been my team to get promotion all year, but every time at home they seem to let me down. But I think they'll win.
Okay, let's go and have a look at the soccer sixes and that. What have we got here, bud?
I kick off on Saturday. I've banked Wolves to beat Aston Villa. I've gone the field in the Preston Cardiff game. I think Swansea will beat Luton. I've got the field in the Charlton QPR game. I've gone the field in the Barnsley Millwall fixture, and I've banked Derby to beat Reading, 162.
Right, the next one.
Yep, FA Cup with a Spanish game thrown in. I've gone banked Birmingham to beat Hull. I've gone the field in the Leeds Fulham game. I've gone Stoke City win and draw at home against Middlesbrough. I've gone the field in the Lancashire derby, Wigan versus Blackburn. I don't like what I've seen of Barcelona lately. I've gone win and draw Barcelona at Celta Vigo, and I've banked United to beat Norwich, 216.
That looks pretty safe. Okay, the 10.
Soccer 10, I've banked Wolves to beat Aston Villa. I've gone the field in the Preston Cardiff game. Likewise, the Barnsley versus Millwall fixture. I think Derby will be too good for Reading. I don't see Queen's Park Rangers losing at Charlton, so drawn away win. A second page, I've banked Birmingham City to beat Hull. I've gone Leeds United win and draw at home against Fulham. I've banked Stoke to beat Middlesbrough. I've gone the field in the Wigan Blackburn game and banked Man United to beat Norwich. 216.
Okay, let's go on to the next one.
Yeah, on to the 13. Obviously, it's 2 rand a line now, so I've had to find another banker. I've
2 rand a line, eh?
Yep, banked Man United to beat Norwich. Birmingham City to win at home against Hull City. I've gone Leeds United win and draw at home against Fulham. I've banked Stoke to beat Middlesbrough. I've gone Wigan win and draw at home against Blackburn Rovers. I've sided with Arsenal not to get beat at Sheffield United. Likewise Chelsea, I don't see them losing at Leicester. A second page, I've got Man City to win at Newcastle. I've gone Watford win and draw at home against Southampton. I've banked Bristol City to beat Sheffield Wednesday and Notts Forest to beat Huddersfield. And our last 2 games are from Sweden. I've gone Malmo win and draw at ARK and Djurgårdens are champions. Win and draw at home against Kalmar.
Okie dokie, Budge, this is my favourite part. Your bets, right?
Yeah.
Budge, tell me your thinking. Let's
Paul,
go for it.
I've gone Chelsea win and draw at home against...
This the FA Cup.
FA Cup, yeah. 90-minute bet. I've gone Chelsea win and draw at Leicester. And I think Man United are the only team that can beat Man City in the Cup. Just under 7-1, Paul, 10-1. It's hard with the bets and everything is very slight.
Listen,
So
rather go
so we're taking a chance, Paul. 10-1 the double.
Now, this English treble
the
is
English
when?
treble, yeah.
Over the weekend?
That's over the weekend.
Is that
yeah.
Saturday to Thursday?
Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Okay.
I've gone Wolves to beat Aston Villa and over 2.5 total goals.
Okay.
I've gone over 2.5 goals in the Watford-Southampton game. And I've gone Crystal Palace to beat Burnley on Monday, okay. 2,300 to 200. Okay. Onto the championship, I've gone 4 teams. I've gone Birmingham to win at home against Hull City. I've gone Derby to beat Reading. I think Swansea will be too good at home for Luton Town. And I'm going Bristol City on Sunday to beat Sheffield Wednesday. 16-1, 3,200 to 200.
Let me pick a hole in your both teams to score.
Okay, Watford, Southampton. I've gone Sheffield United, Arsenal.
Sheffield, okay.
I've gone Charlton, QPR.
Okay.
Preston, Cardiff.
Yeah.
And the last Lancashire Derby, Wigan, Blackburn.
Okay.
Where's your dad? The first game?
My dad, first game, yes.
Yeah,
first
I think
game.
big goals. They're both direct teams. On to the Bundesliga, which is the last week of the league. The Spanish, there's only 3 games every day, and there's not much worth to look at. I'm going Bayern Munich to win at Wolfsburg. I'm going Freiburg to win at home against Schalke. I'm going over 2.5 goals in the Eintracht Frankfurt Paderborn game, and both teams to score in the second half.
In the Eintracht game?
In the Union Berlin Fortuna Düsseldorf game.
Okay.
But both in the second half. It's been amazing how that's been coming up of late. Second half goals. The odds are almost 2-1.
Yeah.
It's great value. So that works 12-1, the quartet.
What about the Collis King?
And the Collis King, I've gone Wolves to beat Aston Villa. I've gone Man United to beat Norwich. I've gone Crystal Palace to beat Burnley on Monday. I've gone Birmingham City to beat Hull City. Swansea City to beat Luton Town. And Freiburg to beat Schalke. Works out at 35-1. Paul, we're going for the glory.
Absolutely. Let's go for the glory. Well, there we are. That's great to be back on there. Great to be rolling. Don't forget, Budge will be contacting those 12 of you that are still in the last one. So what's the last one standing?
Yeah, round 8, Paul.
And but just to reiterate, it's from Saturday to Thursday. Those are the games. By the end of that, all 20 of the teams will have played. So thanks very much to Steve. Good to get Steve back on the airwaves.
Well, I've been WhatsApping him and obviously emailing him. So it's been killing him sitting at the office and at home not watching football, Paul.
Okay. Well, until next time, stay on side.